The fastest way to get stronger requires a mix of technical skills, consistency of training and eating, and disciplined recovery. And definitely you don't want to do that by maxing out on every training session. I have been training for more than 10 years and at the beginning I did what everybody else does. You just lift, training chest most of the time. Week by week I was going heavier and heavier. Then pain showed up. So I had to go lighter for some time to fix the pain and then start all over again. Getting stronger is a process that requires learning and practice. And today I will share with you a few ways to make you stronger the fastest way possible. Those are methods that have produced great results on my own training and help me break my plateaus. It is very tempting to go in front of a mirror and look at your biceps flexing while you do 1,000 bicep curls, but that's not producing much bicep strength at the end. Isolation exercises like the biceps curl have definitely space in the right program, but if strength is your goal, they have to go. You want to concentrate your time and effort on compound exercises, the big ones: squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, dips, chin-up, and carries. That's it. You don't need to fluff about with isolation exercises that only focus on improving the appearance of a muscle. For a better balance, you could add some rotational exercise if you want, but keep it simple. Compound movements with big, heavy weights. To get stronger, you need to lift heavy, and you cannot do that for 15 reps. That's possibly too light. The best rep range for strength training is between 1 and 6 reps. For some assistance exercise you could potentially go to 8, maybe 10, but I wouldn't do more than that. You're also going to use weights between 70% and 95% of your 1 rep max. That's hard work. It's definitely a simple process, but it requires a lot of hard work. To lift such a heavy weight, you need to make sure that you have enough rest between sets, and we are talking for something like 3 minutes plus for your top sets. That's simple. You can move heavy weights faster, and that's because they feel lighter. Increasing the weight on the bar, the mass that you're actually moving, without generating the correct speed and power, it will not produce the results you wish to get to. Move light weights like the heavy, and move heavy weights like the light.
Yeah, buddy! Light weights! Yeah!
The idea behind this concept is that you want to practice a good technique when the weights are not so heavy, but you want to move the heavy weights as fast as possible like they're light. Strength training is not like bodybuilding, and the time under tension is not actually your friend when you want to build strength. You want to move your weights with control, but fast. You see, lifting heavy weights is actually a skill. With strength training, you don't work on the muscles the same way you would on a bodybuilding program. When you lift heavy weights and you move it with control and speed, you basically work on your nervous system, creating some sort of stress that has to adapt to. This neural adaptation will force your body to use its own structure, muscle mass, bones and nerves to fire in a very synchronized and well-timed way to produce the force that you're requesting. And with practice, combined with a good program, it will make the difference on your strength outcome, on strength results. If you go heavier, you need to produce a much greater force with a much greater acceleration to move this heavier mass. So F equal M times A. Force equal to mass times acceleration, the speed it moves. As we already mentioned, strength is a skill, and the more you practice, the more improvement you're going to see. Again, compared to bodybuilding, where you basically improve and grow muscle mass as you recover, with strength training you want to improve more the nervous system as you practice. You are training for movement patterns, not muscles. So the more you repeat the movement, the better you get at it. Big compound movements done really heavy requires you to be able to synchronize and time well all your muscles, not one specific one at a time. Your muscle fibers learn how to fire more efficiently with more force the more you practice. In strength training, we don't generally get to muscle failure simply because it's too dangerous to fail a lift with such a heavy weight. But it happens very often that we grind our last few reps, so we get quite close to that. The big advantage of not going to muscle failure is that you can train a movement pattern or a muscle group more often than you would on a bodybuilding training. You can bench press 4 times a week if you wish to, as far you periodize your program correctly. Talking about periodization, instead of going for a linear periodization where you do, I don't know, the 3x8 at the beginning of your program, so for the first 4 weeks of your cycle, and then you do a 3x6 for the following 4 weeks, and then you do a 3x4 for the last 4 weeks of your program, I prefer to mix things up a bit. I like to go for an undulating periodization where you train your muscle, your movements, not your muscles, with a mixed up frequency and intensity that can change on the week or week by week. The more you practice a specific movement pattern, the better you're becoming at that lift. If, for example, I want to improve the strength of my squat, I can then practice my squat 3, maybe 4 times a week. I can do on a Monday a 3x5, I can do on a Wednesday a 3x8, and then I can do a Friday a 4x3. So Monday will be more focused on the volume, the Wednesday will be more an accessory exercise, and so you're gonna do more technical work with a lighter weight, and then you can go heavier again on a Friday. On the second week of the training, you could potentially go for a different accessory exercise on a Wednesday, and maybe you can go even a bit heavier on a Friday, so you're gonna go for, I don't know, a 5x2 with much heavy weight. In that way, I have added volume to a specific movement pattern. I have differentiated, I have variety of movement for that specific pattern, and I've also increased the intensity I'm working with for the total workload of the week. This method has been proven to increase strength way more than a linear program, and it has worked really well on myself too. What I've listed here is exactly what I've done a few years back. I have stopped for some time, fixed pain, then create a new program and stuck to that for some time till I got the results I was looking for. And it worked. I was way more consistent. I was enjoying my training sessions, and then at the end, results showed up. I felt way more motivated to carry on. But at some point you might be asking, how about food? What and how should you be eating if you want to increase your strength? Did I take any supplements? There is definitely a lot to talk about food and supplementation for strength training, and I have covered most of the supplements for strength on this video up here. Let's keep the food topic for another time. That was it for today. Keep crushing those weights safely. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to help our channel grow, and I will see you in the next week. Ciao!